Now, today, as I say, it's the 30th of July, and yesterday, the 29th, marked a year since the events in Southport, for which Axel Rudikabana was convicted, and which the government has made continued use of in order to justify the Online Safety Act 2023 coming into effect. The central theme of government communications regarding this act has been the protection of children from harmful content online, which is really to willfully obfuscate the very many oppressive and disproportionate provisions which are contained within it. And the other nut with which the online safety sledgehammer is said to crack is that of misinformation, which is described as being spread on social media, leading to violent protest. Recent events in Epping appear to have been agitated by police in order that the Online Safety Act can be further justified, and indeed that the case can be made for digital ID in order to maintain maximum border security. Now, for context on this, please see our censored section shown on screen. Brian was speaking on Monday's news about a plan to create a new police unit with a remit for monitoring social media for what may lead to unrest and other sorts of problems. This followed a correspondence between Karen Bradley, the chair of the Home Affairs Select Committee, and Diana Johnson, the Minister for Policing and Crime. On the 1st of July, Bradley wrote to Johnson inquiring about government plans to gather open source intelligence from social media, end quote. And in her reply, Diana Johnson said that she's considering recommendations, which of course were made by the committee itself, to stand up what's been called a National Internet Intelligence Investigations Team, which will form part of the National Police Coordination Centre, which is situated at the heart of Westminster. Oddly enough, its offices are at 50 Broadway, which covers the site previously known as 54 Broadway, which was a former headquarters of the Secret Intelligence Service. But that's by the by. Johnson went on to say that this will monitor social media intelligence and advise on its use to inform local operational police decision-making, end quote. Given that this will be coordinated from the seat of political power in the country, it seems extraordinarily unlikely that it will not be used to interfere with the operational independence of police, but also because the NPOCC is set up as a, quote, central point for mobilisation of mutual aid across forces. Diana Johnson's letter also makes reference to the Online Safety Act, and of course she toes the party line in that she ensures she only mentions protecting children rather than the many oppressive measures which are set out by the Act. Now, when the subject of censorship came up during yet another awkward press conference with Keir Starmer and Donald Trump, this time at Turnberry, Trump's own golf course, Starmer walked the same line. The American was asked about having his Truth Social platform censored in the UK, and this was how the response was handled.
There are new powers here to censor your site, state-mandated powers.
To censor my site?
To censor your site and Twitter
Truth?
and Facebook. Truth. Is that okay?
Well, I don't think he's going to censor my site because I say only good things. Will you please uncensor my site?
Yeah, we're not censoring anyone. We've got some measures which are there to protect children, in particular from sites like suicide sites. We've had too many cases in the United Kingdom of young children taking their own lives, and when you look through their social media, they've been accessing sites which talk about suicide and encouraging, if you like, children down that road, and that is what we want to stop. There's nothing about censoring free speech.
But that treats all adults like children.
This country is the proud.
But that can treat all adults like children.
Free speech in this country has been for a very long time. We're very, very proud of it. We will protect it forever. But at the same time, I personally feel very strongly that we should protect our young teenagers, and that's what it usually is, from things like suicide sites. I don't see that as a free speech issue. I see that as a child protection issue.
We actually passed a bill in Congress, headed up by my wife, actually, which was to pull bad stuff out having to do with children, because it is a problem. But I cannot imagine him censoring Truth Social. This is more of a very political, and it's been a very big success.
It's not going to happen.
And I only say good things about him and his country, so if they censor me, you're making a mistake.
So all a bit of a joke as far as they're concerned, and even the bits that are not funny, are really only concerning children. And I would say this is a distortion, and there is some indication of the public awareness of this thanks to a petition which has been started by Alex Bainham, running till October of this year, and it requests that the Online Safety Act be repealed. It's now attracted over 420,000 signatures, and there'll be a link in the show notes. The government has already responded with a lengthy statement crafted with the apparent intent to obfuscate, and of course the response is predicated on preventing harm to children. They say that they have no plans to repeal the Act and that the measures taken by Ofcom are proportionate, which is really almost all you need to know, and certainly nowhere near the truth. The specific point made by Alex Bainham is that what is described as user-to-user content is subject to the provisions of the Act, forcing the host of any platform to moderate, in a very active sense, all traffic on that site, something which is plainly an untenable burden for the smaller operators. Now, if this sounds confusing, it would be the equivalent of making the landlord of a pub responsible for every single conversation which took place in that pub, something which, of course, has never been suggested. Now, just like Diana Johnson, the government response hangs its hat on prevention of harm to children and ignores the very many ways in which the Act interferes with free speech. What the petition has also done, though, is to create a bandwagon for opportunists to jump on, most notably the Reform Party. Having said absolutely nothing about censorship in the UK, Reform are now reverse engineering their position in order to try to ride the crest of this particular wave. Nigel Farage has said that Reform will repeal the Act, and here is a piece by Zia Yusuf written on the same subject in The Telegraph, a blatant attempt to wrestle ownership of the repeal petition. On the subject of seizing a moment, though, Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana appear to be running the largest political party in the country already, which, in addition to the petition response, could be considered as a barometer of resistance to the Starmer regime. It's called Your Party, and it claims to have over 500,000 members, which would mean that it already dwarfs all of the other parties. And as they say, the system is rigged, and they're campaigning on a free and independent Palestine ticket. So it should be expected that they gain a lot more traction over the coming months. And with the recent prescription of Palestine action and the raft of unwarranted arrests last year, there is no doubt that the link between censorship and sponsorship of genocide in the Middle East, something that is being covered many times by UK columns. So we'll certainly be following up on that particular story. Now,